So, Steph wants to keep the gang together, but what could that look like? Well, the Warriors have the highest payroll in the NBA this season. They have 5 players making over $20 million each. When you deep dive into their books, Klay Thompson is an unrestricted free agent after the season, and they could waive Chris Paul after the year because his salary is non-guaranteed. So Steph says 100% he wants to keep the big three together. So, Austin, do you want to see the Warriors big three sail off into the sunset?
I do. You know, we're talking about a modern-day dynasty. You think about the Spurs. I don't want to see Klay Thompson go to a different team. It's like when we talk about the Spurs, we talk about, remember Tony Parker left to go to Charlotte, and it was like weird.
What?
And then he came back home, and everybody felt good again.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see Klay Thompson in a different jersey. And by the way, he could help other teams, by the way, because a new fresh start can do a lot for a player. But this team right here, you want to see these guys go one team their whole career. We're talking about the Golden State Warriors. By the way, you never know. They might have a bounce-back year next year. There's been a lot of, dysfunction this year between the injuries, between the absence of Draymond, between Klay's up and down in his new role.
True.
They're playing their best basketball this season right now. We'll see how this second half kind of, leans out and plays out. And then you go from there. But they've already wrote history. They've done everything that they've needed to do in the game of basketball. Obviously, you want to see Steph compete at a high level because he's still playing at a high level. But I can't picture Draymond in a different jersey. I don't want Draymond in a different jersey. And I damn sure don't want Klay in a different jersey. I want him to finish it out.
And he did just recently say that he's willing to take a lesser role, essentially. And I think that's very important. But Ramona, will Draymond and Klay finish their season as a Warrior?
I think they do. I think they all finish their careers with the Warriors. I think it's getting there is going to be difficult. Draymond signed for 4 years, so he's got 3 years left on his contract. I can't see a world where they trade him. Teams might call, but I don't think they do that. Klay, it's going to be the ball's in his court now. I mean, it's really, they made him a contract extension offer. They couldn't come to an agreement. It was a 2-year offer. Draymond got 4, so there's some of that there. But there's also what is his market value? Does he want to test the market? Does he want to go out and see what free agency is like? Does he want to meet with other teams? That might set the market for him as he comes to free agency this summer. But I think when all is said and done, I think they find a way to get that deal done. I think they all do stay together until the end of their careers.
Yeah, and if you just look at what they've produced on the basketball court recently, Steph is in his prime. Draymond has really helped key in the role players, and Jonathan Kuminga has taken another big step. Yes. So, Perk, do you think that they keep the gang together based off of what we've seen maybe the last 10 or so games?
No, I don't. And let me say this, because everyone was saying, oh, Klay is not the Klay of old. Klay just had a 35 piece, I believe it was, the other night, right before the All-Star break, off the bench. So Klay still could be Klay if he wanted to in a different situation. Just because he's asked to take a lesser role for the Warriors doesn't mean that Klay Thompson can't go and deliver on another basketball team. And he reminded us of that when before the game against Utah. Here's what I'm saying, right? When it comes down to holding this together for the long haul, we don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know if these guys are going to retire in a Warriors uniform, because I could see Draymond Green riding this out like a Udonis Haslem. Does it have to be for the Golden State Warriors? Now, say 3 or 4 years down the line, when Draymond's contract is up, if another contender come knocking at the door, like in Oklahoma City Thunder or the Minnesota Timberwolves, and say, hey, Draymond, we want you in the locker room, then he has some serious thinking to do. So I can't go out on the limb and say that all 3 of those guys will retire in a Warriors uniform. I won't do it.
I'm on fire. The city, yeah, I'm